Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Welcome to Floating in Dreams. Today we are going to be shopping my stash for March 2022. So let's get started. Welcome if you're new here. Welcome if you're a returning visitor. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Today we are shopping my stash. In case you don't know, I do this once a month where I first review all the products I was trying in the month previously, and then we go into my drawers to select the new products for the month. And I can tell you this month we're gonna change up this drawer a lot, because if you think this looks very nice and clean and organized, wait till you see the drawers. Because I just finished decluttering all of my makeup collection, so I will have those videos going up every Thursday in the month of March. So there's going to be a decluttering episode every single week this month, which I'm super excited for. But yeah, I do really enjoy trying products and also getting the use out of my products. So that's where this series sort of fits into my channel. I love trying eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna hopefully try another 10 this month, so I'll show you those. And I've always loved trying the new Essence and Catrice products when those come around. So both brands just came out with their new spring-summer collection. So I have a lot of new products to try there. So I hope to be able to select a few of those to go into the drawer. And I love getting the use out of older products as well. So this is not just going to focus on new stuff that I need to try. I love going back to old favorites that I love reaching for. And then new this year is that I like selecting some single shadows that I want to play around with. And when I talk about this palette, I'll be inserting some eye looks that I did with the quad as well that I selected for this month. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, we can start talking about what's in the drawer first. So I've got my setting sprays always here in the back, so I have the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. I'm really enjoying this. I'm liking this a lot more than I had expected. I've only used a little bit so far, but it's a good one. It's a nice spritzer, really. And then I have my MAC Fix Plus. I just use this to wet shadows. That's nothing too revolutionary there. This is gone. I just used it for the last time today. So this is the Vanilla Mint Lip Balm from C.O. Bigelow. So we need to grab a new lip balm to go into the drawer. My eye primers are still going strong. So I have the Milani in here and the NYX Glitter Glue. I really only use a glitter glue if I'm actually using a glitter. Very often I'll just stick to my double prime moment. So I always go in with the Milani first, let that set, and then I go in right before I do my shadow with Painterly from MAC. Which, again, I've only been using this for a few months and it's already seeing a lot of usage. So super happy with that. I've used 2 of these up in the past, so that's an OG favorite. And then I like setting it with a cream colored eyeshadow. This is Vanilla by MAC. So that's what we've got going on there. Then we just have some tools and hair clips and those kind of things. I need to put it somewhere, and this is the easiest way for me to access it. My brush cleanser from Catrice, I always use this to swap colors. It's like one of those color switch kind of products. Looks a bit gross, so I won't open it. Brows is over here, so the Catrice Brow Pen Pro and Clean ID Hydro Brow Gel are both really good products. I'm really enjoying putting these in my brows every single time I do my makeup, so top notch there. And my favorite mascara combo that I have discovered is the Maybelline's The Falsies Lash Lift, combined with the Catrice Glam and Doll Waterproof. I always like going in with the Catrice Glam and Doll Waterproof, no matter the mascara I use, because it just adds a waterproof layer, and it doesn't smudge at all on me. And this is the mascara I also use on my lower lash line. So these are some lovely products, and this is really like a core staple at the moment of my makeup look. I'm really enjoying it. If you've been here, then you know that this is where I change the most, because these are the products I either use up or change around more often. So the primer from Essence, it's gone. The Hello Good Stuff Primer Serum Hydrate Plump with Blueberry. I think it's got like 1 use left, so I'm going to put it on the top of my vanity so it can settle down. And I can use it like 1 more time, but that's used up. Then another thing that's used up is the Essence Stay Natural Concealer. I predicted this wasn't going to have a very long life, and by now it's one of those clicky pens with a brush tip applicator. Really lovely, actually. I really enjoyed this concealer, actually. I was surprised by how much I liked it. It's in the shade Tender Rose, which is a really nice brightening shade for me. I did really enjoy that. But I do have to say that this is just not a whole lot of product, so you go through it very quickly. So I knew this wasn't going to last. Now maybe you remember, maybe you don't, but I also selected the L'Oreal Perfect Match Concealer last month to put into the drawer, and I did use it like once because I was hoping to be able to use it up before it expired, but it's actually no good anymore, so I don't feel safe using that anymore. So when I decluttered, I did put that in the declutter pile, so that one's gone. For foundation, we're going to be selecting something new because I tried all three of these, and if you saw last Sunday's video, you know why I wanted to make sure I tried these in the month of February, because I wanted to do a roundup of the 10 foundations that I told you already in June I was going to try. It ended up taking a little bit longer for me to try all 10, but yeah, I decided to just commit this month and really give these a whirl. So the Kiko Insta Moisture is a really lovely foundation, but this has a cap, and then the pump also needs to twist into position for it to pump out. And I actually kind of broke the pump because I wasn't aware of that when I first started using it. So I was squeezing down the pump and I kind of broke it. So the foundation itself is really, really lovely. I just wish it had like a little arrow or something somewhere that you knew it had to be twisted. Like, it's so easy to do that, because very often if a foundation has a cap, the pump is static and it doesn't move because the cap will protect it. I don't mind an extra layer of protection, but put it somewhere on your packaging. But yeah, lovely foundation. I did decide to keep this around in my declutter. And then there were two high-end options that I still had to try. The Estee Lauder I had owned for a year already, and I just didn't use it because I was afraid it was going to be too dark. Turns out it's actually a really good one for me. Lovely hydrating formula, really enjoyed it. And the same goes for the Dior. The Dior Forever Natural Nude is just such a lovely foundation. So yeah, these were, all three of them were really good options, so I'm really happy I have these. But like I said, we're selecting something new. Now, something that's also going to move out of this drawer because it's gonna count as used up is the Essence Skin Loving Sensitive Mineral Powder, because I'm struggling to pick this up with my brush. And I know every project panner in the world is going to say that I need to repress this and that I can get more use out of the product. I want to. Trust me, I do. However, I have found that if I repress setting powders, it messes with the formula and it's not going to have this lovely, creamy, very easy to blend formula that I love this powder for. Because I find that if you repress face powders, I have always had the experience that they change texture when I do that. So even though it looks like there's a lot of product here, I really struggle getting any of this product out with my brush. I can't coat my brush in it anymore the way I'd want to. So yeah, this is gonna go away into my makeup use up pile, and I'm going to be selecting a new powder. So bronzer, blush, and highlighter left, and I'm going to be changing these up for sure. The Catrice Holiday Skin Luminous Bronzer in the shade 010 Summer in the City. I bought this in January because I was gonna do my bronzer collection, and I was like, okay, I wanna be able to compare it to the darker shade, because when these released last August, I couldn't find the light shade anywhere. They only had the dark shade in stock, so I went with it. But the lighter shade is perfect for the winter time, as I had predicted. This is such a lovely, lovely alternative. If you love the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and you want it even more affordable and in much slimmer packaging, try these Catrice ones because they are lovely. They only come in 2 shades though. An OG favorite, Hourglass's Iridescent Strobe Light Ambient Strobe Lighting Powder. I believe that's the full name of this baby. This is one of my favorite more subtle highlighters I have. I've got a couple of those, and this was just a lovely pick for the winter time. It is quite pale, really light. I really enjoy this product, and it's one of those products that got so much flack when this was released. Like, so many people hated on these because there is some sort of like sparkle running through it, and at the time the high shine metallic was the thing that everybody wanted. Like, think like the Ofra highlighters, those kind of things. That's when these launched. So these were a little bit ahead of their time, I think, which is why a lot of people didn't like these, but I really love mine and I highly recommend it. But we're selecting something differently this time around. And then we have the Space Age Gifted Highlighter from Kaleidos. And I ended up reaching for this so much more than I had expected. Like, you can see where my brush has gone into this pan a lot. And I'm actually quite surprised with that because I put the Hourglass in to have a wearable highlighter because I wasn't so sure about this one. I didn't wear it out of the house all that much. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I knew I had a social engagement where I was meeting other people, I wore the Hourglass, and I use this much more in my videos and things like that. It was fun. I really had fun trying this. I could see when I was editing videos where I was wearing this that one cheek looked like it had a different highlighter on than the other. So that's definitely the way this is going to work if you wear this in real life. Depending on how people look at you, it's going to look a different shade. So you might get comments about that. But yeah, I really liked it. It has a good texture, really nice creamy formula. It is a bit powdery though, so you do have to bear that in mind. And for blush, the lovely cookie blusher from Etude House in the shade Lavender Lemon Macaron. I always forget what this thing is called. It's a very nice, like pale lavendery pink. So stunning. I wore this a lot. I'm super pale in the winter time, so if you're a fellow snow angel, then you might enjoy a shade like this. This is not going to do a lot if you have anything deeper than my skin tone, but I really like these very pale shades in the winter time because then I just don't look like a clown, because anything else will just look a bit too much. And the other blush I reached for a lot was actually this one from Melt. This is in the shade Raw Honey in their Digital Dust formula, and this is so lovely. You can see I'm really wearing down that pattern. I like this so much that I bought the peachy shade in the Black Friday sale from Beauty Bay when they had that in stock, because I just love how glowy this is. I like fusing the two shades together so that I get a bit of a mix, because this is a bit too dark and this is not a highlighter for me, so I just wear this as a glowy blush. And finally, we have the Jelly Dough blusher from Holika Holika in the shade Rose Jelly. I put this in for a more neutral option, but I actually didn't go for this as much. And I think I know why, because the spring-summer season is where I prefer wearing cream and liquid blushes more so than in the wintertime. I prefer a powder on myself in the wintertime, which makes no sense because my skin tends to be drier in the wintertime. But I think it has to do with the fact that because my skin is quite dry, I struggle making these look really pretty if my skin has a bit of texture. So that's why I do prefer wearing this in the spring-summer season. Right, and then I thought we could quickly talk about the 4 shades I had selected for this month's custom singles palette. So I selected 4 of my singles from my singles collection, and I think that selecting 4 is actually a really good number for me. So I'm definitely going to be building myself another 4-pan palette, and I did 3, maybe 4 different looks with this. So I'll also be inserting those pictures for you so you can see. So I selected 2 shimmers and 2 mattes. So let me start with this lighter matte first. This is MAC's Soft Brown, and I also wanted to swatch this for you so you can see. So this is what soft brown looks like. There you go. And then I selected a dark gray, which ended up working really well with this palette. I'm super happy I got this one in the mix. This is Sydney Grace's Officer, and it's like quite a bluish tone gray, and it's super pigmented. So this was pigmented enough to wear as liner or to sort of do other things with. So I really like that. And then I have a Cliona shadow here. This is Shroom, and this one really surprised me. It looked like a boring taupe in the pan, but actually when you use it, it's very much a sort of shifting kind of shade. It's not a duochrome by any means, but it's like a very soft, like neutrally taupey kind of shade, but it has like a purple to it almost. So depending on how opaque I build this, it looked a little bit more lavender almost. So all over the lid, this looked very differently than when I used it on my lower lash line. So this was a great shade to have in this little quad. And then finally, another Sydney Gray shade here. This is called Dive. And this is one of those like blue shades with a golden flash. And this was also lovely. Again, a great lower lash line shade, or one that is lovely all over the lid as well. I use it both ways, and this is so lovely for sure. So that was what the quad looked like. Let me show you what I'm selecting for this month. Alright, so I've made the selection already. I definitely want to do like videos where I actually make the selection on camera and then sort of also ask you for input what you would like to see. But I'm still sort of struggling with that part, and that would warrant a completely different video. I couldn't just like put it in a Shop My Stash like I'm doing now, because then the video would be too long. So that's why I've just selected these four. I definitely wanted to select a multi-chrome this time round, and I really wanted to try Touch of Glam's Lucid Lavender, which is this really, really pretty, like, iridescent sparkly shade. I think this can be an inner corner highlight. It can go all over the lid. It can make for a nice bright pop in like something like a halo eye. So I think this can be a very versatile shade, despite it being super, super well, flashy, I shouldn't say, but it's a really, really pretty shade. So let me swatch it here. It's a really creamy texture. It's very light. I'm not sure if you can see that here, but it's got some really, really stunning pigmentation and shift. So I thought that looked pretty. So then I needed something that it could transition into. So I selected just one matte. And this is by Sydney Grace, and this is Concrete Road, which is a really nice, like, taupey gray. I mean, we all know I love my taupes, so this is definitely sort of like my kind of shades here, you guys. So I thought that these two, like, this can just be a look. This in the crease and this all over the lid, or maybe topping this over that taupe shade might be pretty too. This is definitely something I can have fun with. And then I went with some shimmers, because I prefer shimmers over mattes. So I figured, why not put in two shimmers? So I selected another Cleona's shade. This is one of their regular shimmers. This is in the shade Nocturnal. And it's this very vibrant, like indigo-y, bluey shade. And I thought it could go really well with something like Lucid Lavender, as well as the taupe. But this is going to be a nice pop of something bright. And as you can see, it's a blue, but it's got a very strong purple base. I like that. That looks like a lot of fun to me. So that's why I thought that could be a good one to pair, like if you want to add brightness. But then of course I do also want depth, and I don't mind it if my darkest shade is a shimmer. So that's why I went with Prussian Blue from ABH, and this is a really, it's not quite a navy, it's not quite a teal, it's sort of like a gray toned bluey kind of shade. And again, I thought if I want to add depth, then this shade may actually be really nice. So this is the quad that we've got going on right now. So we have Lucid Lavender, so there's something really nicely textural and sparkly. Like this topped over that, or this topped over that. I think it can really make for some versatile looks. So I'm gonna have fun playing with this for sure. So now that we've talked about everything that we've got going on in the drawer, we're going to go into the makeup collection and we're going to be selecting some new products to try. Ta-da! Look at that nicely cleaned out makeup drawer. I'm so happy with this because this was so heavy. I could barely open it again because it was like filled with products on top. So I'm really happy with this. So yeah, stay tuned because I did a massive declutter, as you can see. So I've got quite a few products that I need to select. So it's a good thing that I used up that Essence primer actually, because now I can try this new CATRICE Plump and Fresh Primer. I'm really curious how I feel once I start using it more. I already compared it in my first impression video to my old favorite, the Fresh It Up. They no longer sell this, and it was a good dupe for the primerizer from Smashbox. So yeah, I'm gonna try this now to see how it goes when I give this more of a whirl to see whether I like it. And then for powder, and that means we can move this here. Oh, that's great. We can move this guy here. So there we go. And then we have the Kiko, what's this called again? The Radiant Fusion Baked Powder in shade 01. This is going to be the face powder I want to try. This is very similar, I feel, to the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffuse Light, which is one of my favorites. But this is a fraction of the price. So I definitely want to put this in a Shop My Stash to see how much I like it if I start using it every single day for like weeks, months, because how much product do you get? This is 10 grams of product. So this is going to last me like 3 or 4 months for sure. For foundation, I wanted to go in with something old and something new. So I did manage to buy myself the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I have this in shade 3 because it seemed to be a match to the shade I have in the Light Wonder. I did go into store to pick this out, so I hope it's the right shade for me. It looks a bit dark in the tube, but I think I might be able to get away with it, especially now that we're going into spring. So I'm going to try this out to see how much I like it. So stay tuned for a review on that. And then we have the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the shade Fair Beige. I set this in my foundation collection video that I did at the end of 2021, that I wanted to use this up. This is a lovely foundation, and it's a great one for me in the springtime. So I know that if I'm going to use it up, it's going to be in like March, April, May. So this is probably going to stay in the drawer for a few months until it's gone. And all of a sudden I realized what I wanted to try out for concealer, and it's going to be this OG combo, the Peri Para Ink Corrector in the shade Peach, and my Glossier Stretch Concealer in the shade G12. This is such a lovely combo, but this is quite light. And it isn't very, like, it's not a very thick coverage. It's more brightening, I would say. So I like always going in with the Peach Corrector first to correct my dark circles and then put this on top. And it's a lovely combo. And I think it will go really well with these two foundations because those are also more hydrating. So then we have base done. We still have setting sprays in the drawer, so I don't have to select for those. So now we need to go into this side of the drawer. So we've got my bronzers, my highlighters, my blushes, and then these are all the cream and liquids, and these are my face palettes. That's the way this drawer kind of works. And I don't want to select too many new products in this category because I already have a few here. I've got the new foundation, the new powder, and the new primer to review, and I don't want to overload it with new stuff. It's like a fun, ooh, I think I want to go back to the Annabelle highlighter, Perfect Glow highlighter in the shade Topaz. This is a great wide gold, which I think is really pretty for the springtime. I'm going to be using that. I'm going to go all out. We're just going to go in with the Nabla Skin Glazing highlighter in Privilege. This is my favorite peachy tone. So then both of them are going to be warm toned. So, but yeah, I love those in the springtime. So I'm going to give those a bit of a whirl. Those are old favorites, so I know I love those. And then I think for bronzer, I want to go into the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker bronzer in the shade In the Sun. This is one of my favorite bronzers, and I was looking at this in my declutter thinking, I need to try this again. I need to go back to it because I love it so much. So then we have bronzer and highlighter. For blush, ooh, what's like a really good spring blush? So we need to go with something that's a bit more warm toned. I'm going to go with the Catrice blush box in the shade Dolce Vita. Great peachy blush on me, and that's a nice warmer tone that I will love. I think this will be pretty too. The Duo Glow from Natasha Denona in the shade Rio. It is pink, but it is quite a warm tone as well, so it's more like that NARS Orgasm kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So I think that will be pretty for the springtime, plus that's a bit more glowy. I think I do. I want to go in with Max Heat Index. This is from their Glow Play line. This is a really nice, bright, fun coral, and it's like a cream to powder. So it's not quite a cream, it's not quite a powder. So those, I think, maybe the Natasha Denona I may not have reviewed yet. But yeah, I think the MAC I did. So then we have blush, bronzer, and highlights. So that's lovely. So now that we've put everything into the drawer, I want to update you on some of the lip products that I have been using, as well as some eyeshadow palettes that I will be using. So the lip product that I have been using quite a bit, to my surprise, is this lip gloss from Catrice. It's their Better Than Fake Lips Volume Gloss. Now, I got quite a lot of questions about this in my first impression Catrice video, but this doesn't plump in the sense of it won't tingle. It's more of like a super hydrating, very creamy formula that's going to make your lips look fuller because they're more nourished and hydrated. But I really like this shade. It's Lifting Nude 030. Oops. And I've actually been wearing this quite a bit, and I'm really enjoying it. And something that I will be trying out this month are these new Essence lipsticks from their Hydra Matte range. Now, the shades weren't too offensive. The formula is actually quite nice. I wore, I think it was, I'm not sure which one it was. It was the mauve one, 401. So I'm not sure which one of these it is, but I wore it for like a day straight, and it actually was quite long wearing as well, without it feeling super drying, which for Essence, for me, is quite unique. So I still need to take pictures of these on my face to be able to write a full review on these. But these surprised me a little bit. It's just that the fake watermelon scent that these have, I'm not a fan of. So that's why these probably won't have a very long life in my makeup collection. But these are much better lipsticks than I had expected at first. For eyeshadow palettes then, something I've already tried but that I still have to review. I hope to be able to write the review for this sometime later this week, but it's the CATRICE Pro Slim Hint of Mint eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. I had so much fun testing this out. The only shade that needs a bit of help is the shade Mint. But yeah, the other shades were surprisingly good. This is one of the good ones from CATRICE. These are the palettes I will hope to be trying this month. So I've got some smaller things here. These are by Game Beauty, and I want to try all 3 of these. Now these are 10 pans, so I think it warrants like 2 looks per palette, I'm sure. So this is the Fantasy, we have the Victory, and we have the Adventure. And these all swatch beautifully. And I've heard people saying that this was their first one, this was their second one, this was their third one, that the quality keeps going up as these palettes progress. So I'm really curious to see if I agree with that statement. Then I also want to try the Sigil inspired Lavender Chinchilla palette. Mine is a little bit fragile, so I only keep it like lying like flat down because this came a little shattered in the mail, unfortunately. It was on its way to me for like 4 months, so I'm really not so surprised that this came a little shattered. The bubblegum from BH I want to try. Paris Edit, or the Passion in Paris from BH, I definitely want to try this month. It seems really pretty cool tone. This got a lot of hype. Like the Blueberry Muffin, and I didn't love the Blueberry Muffin as much as everybody else. I like it, but it's not my favorite blue tone palette for sure. So I'm hoping this is more successful for me with the purples. And then I'm finally going to get around to trying my Age of Opulence from Beauty Bay. I'm hoping it's like the updated version of the Book of Magic. And the same thing goes for the Wilderness palette. I finally want to try these on my eyes. And then I also wanted to try the Nomad Cosmetics Land of Fire and Ice. So the Iceland palette, this is a gorgeous color story. And then I also want to try their Haunted Europe palette, which was, I know it was a gothic vibe, sort of Halloween release with a very murky color story. But I just want to sort of keep brands together. And then I have 10 palettes that I hope to be able to review for you by the end of the month. That's the aim. Fingers crossed I can do it. So that's my Shop My Stash for March. I really hope you enjoyed watching this. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more by me. I make 3 new videos a week, so I hope you would like to stay tuned for more. And of course, that Declutter series is coming to you starting Thursday. So thank you very much for being here. Have a great day. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.